Alright, so we're making a driving video here. Thing is, I'm doing quite a long road trip and wanted to make full use of the time. So, decided to make this video here. And I hope everybody enjoys the video while Ben drives. Great. So, what we're going to talk about is consciousness, of course. That is the eternal subject, the thing of most interest. But hopefully we can make it relevant for everybody. And so the thing is, right now, it's a very interesting time to be alive. It's incredible, in fact. And especially to, you know, be witnessing this tremendous evolution. This evolution of consciousness, both as an inward experience and this kind of outward growth of technology and science, media, this collective consciousness flowering. It's literally a flowering of collective consciousness through a global web of information, and it's not just information, it's experiences being shared simultaneously by thousands or even millions of people across the planet. And it's almost like a revealing, it's an unveiling of a consciousness that's always existed, this kind of collective consciousness. And at the same time, you know, we're experiencing all this kind of revolution and this kind of progression, so to speak. There's this a tremendous amount of suffering. It's apparent suffering and a spiritual ignorance, and, like a mass delusion going on. In a culture that, you know, in a modern kind of westernized culture that is polluting the outer world, the oceans, the streams and the air and everything else, and it's, you know, polluting our physical, you know, body, or through food and drugs and a you know, corporatized economy, and then inwardly a psychological corruption. Basically, is the best, you know, best way you can call it. Through conditioning, through education, through parents and culture, of growing up in this kind of, you know, insane society. And if you want to call it sane, then I don't know what measuring method you're using. Your measure of sanity must be off, if you can consider this society sane. Now, that's not to say it's a wrong or evil, or it's being manipulated by, you know, evil people in high up, and it's all a big conspiracy. It's not. You know, humanity and consciousness. It is an intelligence. So there's lots of positive forward movement. It's an inevitability, right, to go through this stage. Any planet, you know, that's evolving is going to go through this kind of stage, this growth of, you know, reason coming out of, you know, blind superstition and this kind of, you know, conflict with traditional views and objective science, and clashes with power and all these kinds of things. It's all inevitable. It's all auspicious. But the thing is, you know, we're in it, right? So it helps to have a little understanding or perspective that can help us move forward and really gain a perspective on it, so that we can see this kind of challenge that we're faced with, you know, both individually and collectively. We can see this, you know, a way of seeing this challenge as a divine opportunity. An incredibly auspicious moment in time, right? For ourselves and for the planet and for everybody. So the thing is, to look at it spiritually, like, you know, why are we stuck with all this suffering? You know, why have we been fed, you know, without our will, you know, without our cooperation? You know, why have we been fed all these chemically infused foods? You know, why have we been given all these, you know, pharmaceutical drugs? Why have we been, you know, tortured with this limited education? You know, why? You know, because a lot of that, it's no joke. It can cause tremendous suffering in people. And but again, to gain a certain insight or perspective on it, if you're interested from a spiritual point of view, right? It's actually an incredible opportunity. It's the best. It's the best thing. So imagine this guy, like, you know, like a sadhu who goes to the Himalayas, right? He says, "Look, I'm gonna go sit in the snow for 2 years. You know, every day I'm gonna get up. The first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go, you know, take off all my clothes, maybe a loincloth, and just sit in the snow. All right? And I'm sitting in the snow, and look, it's a powerful technique. And look, I'm getting over the sense, because the body is resisting, the mind is just resisting. But it's like a tapas, right? It's like a practice to sit in the snow and continually face the extreme, right? And eventually, you know, transcend to actually, you know, move beyond this kind of identification with the body and move beyond the subtle identification with the mind, even, and ultimately realize this state of superconsciousness, which is possible. Again, just by a tapas like sitting in the snow. And the thing is, now let's say somebody does that, right? And you come out and, you know, you've been there, you know, 3-4 years in samadhi in the snow, and all dressed up, and you're like, yes, I'm realized, I'm bliss, I'm consciousness, I'm God, all that. And look, you know, all you gotta do is sit in the snow. That's all I did. Now the problem is that not a lot of people are gonna be able to connect with that. You know, first of all, there's, you know, what if you live in a mild climate? You know, there's no snow there. You say, well, look, I don't know. I just sat in the snow and it worked great. But that's not gonna help somebody that's, you know, stuck in this kind of modern culture with, you know, iPods and internet and all these kinds of distractions, and media, and all this stuff. You know, it's just going to be a fantasy. Oh yeah, the sadhu, man, you know, to get enlightened, you better have some snow around. You better have 2 years to sit in the Himalayas, and it just creates a big fantasy that enlightenment is just some kind of far off experience, and that's the ideal, is this kind of you know, living outside of this kind of mass network of delusion that you could say we're almost trapped in. But actually, I would look at it the other way, you know, because when you realize, yeah, you can realize the super consciousness just by sitting in the snow, and you can come out. And yes, I'm in bliss. But again, what if you actually? It's almost like a gross thing. It's just you're getting over this extreme in weather, right? But in this modern world, we have much more extremes than just hot and cold on the body, right? I mean, we're talking about, having access to all the knowledge you can imagine, right? On your iPhone, right? Having all these luxuries and all these, pleasures available, right? Very easily. And it's like almost, everybody, and there's still a lot of struggling, but there's so much, for millions of people, there's this, material, I don't want to say abundance, but this availability. Again, in most modernized, so-called cultured societies, you just have so much room for experience, and at the same time, you're being fed all these incredible experiences. I mean, you go to a movie theater and you're in this. It's like a whole, incredible world. Batman, Lord of the Rings. It's like this. It's this otherworldly experience that becomes a part of your consciousness. And that's just film. Like you Fox News. You have the Hannity and Combs. This fighting and all this media being bombarded and all this information just constantly coming from everywhere. And so you're living with it, right? And the thing is, at the same time, you have access to all this. There's tremendous, for many people that kind of have, that look inside and start questioning, right? A lot of these things that they've experienced and they were just kind of fed to them, and it was part of this culture. You start questioning, wait a minute, is this leading towards some kind of fulfillment, like a real inner fulfillment? Is this really where it's at? And once you start questioning that, you can really have tremendous depths of depression and suffering, and you can feel your body, God, it's just been tortured with all these chemically altered foods and by all this, strange pharmaceutical drugs. And you realize that your life is, you're experiencing such extremes, right? And again, that's the ultimate ground for spirituality. It's the ultimate opportunity. It's much more than just, again, sitting in snow. And again, there's nothing wrong. Lots of respect for that practice. But see, the divine, right? This consciousness comes down, right? It comes to come down physically, right? Because after all, you can say, well, why is all this suffering here? Why do we need it? You say, well, why do we need creation? Why don't we just stay as, this blissful Shiva, right? This immutable consciousness, this pure radiance, this pure bliss, this unchanging eternal state of grace, right? Why come down? Why be polluted by all this, ignorance, right? And that's the thing, the strong kind of sense of duality, the material and the spiritual. We got to be more spiritual, and all this material stuff is just, it's just keeping us back, and we have, you know, these kind of two worlds, and that's just one example. Well, you know, why is that there? Well, in essence, it's not, but that's it's like a play, you know. It's like the ultimate play, and it's happening on the planet Earth, right now. And it's not just me, it's not just you, it's everybody. Everybody's a part of it. And the more you realize that you're, in some sense, a part of this evolution, or just play for you know, the play of consciousness, and that in some sense, you know, it's reaching this kind of it's reaching in somewhat of a pinnacle state. It's like where the increase in, you could say, the increase in novelty, or the increase in change and development, and the spreading awareness of a collective global consciousness is just flowering in front of our very eyes. It's literally expanding this very moment. So we're witnessing this, right? And we're saying, well, what does this have to do with us? You know, I'm just trying to survive and get a job and do this and you know, I'm just trying to work on my, you know, engrams and these patterns, and I'm trying to just heal and experience the ultimate, right? All these things, we're just trying to catch a glimpse and